This, ladies and gentlemen, is the model 2024 Rubicon, the Wrangler Rubicon. What's new, you would ask, because it's still the same shape, right? But that's been the case all these years. There is, however, a new grille, a bunch of cameras, radars. There is also a new windscreen. If you step inside, there is a massive new infotainment, new speakers, some updates to the mechanicals, etc. I know what you're thinking. All of these changes could have been listed in a reel, right? No, this is going to be a proper long-form review because I'm not one who'd just let go of an opportunity to drive a Wrangler, especially in a setting like this. So let's get on with the review, shall we? Whether you're driving in the city or just enjoying the views on the highway and you spot something even better on the horizon and you want to get there, in all probability, the Wrangler will take you there. And this is considering that most luxury SUVs will probably not even attempt it. You don't have to believe me. Let me show you. Let's take it to some places where your normal cars are probably never going to go. Now this is where the Wrangler truly belongs. This is where the Rubicon comes alive. This is not a man-made course. This is not something that was tailor-made for the car. Well, in a way it was, by nature, not by people. This is where the Wrangler truly feels at home, in the middle of the wilderness, in the middle of all the sand and rock and trees and shrubs. It just goes effortlessly over everything, just the way you would expect. I mean, that is what this badge stands for, right? It's literally effortless. And while you have all that serious hardware in this car, it just makes it so effortless. I mean, look how close I am to the elements. Like with the doors removed, with these bars in place, I'm literally one with nature. And if you really enjoy that kind of stuff, that is where you appreciate what the Wrangler and especially the Rubicon stands for. So now we are engaging 4-low. Honestly, didn't feel like the car really needed it. We're just doing it so that we get better torque, easier pulling capability on this terrain. But even in 4 auto or 4 high, it was just able to do all of this so easy. When I'm able to have a conversation with you and doing all this, not breaking a sweat, the car not breaking a sweat. I know there are other off-road vehicles as well. There are other icons like the Wrangler. There's the G-Wagon, there is the Defender. But the ability to disconnect those sway bars, the ability to literally crawl out of the trickiest of situations, is with which the Wrangler does it. The confidence it gives you for all of it is just unbelievably cool. Barks lying on the path, rocks, shrubs, grass, ridges, everything is just fodder for the Wrangler. And then you come to drops like these, you have excellent visibility. So all purists, old-timers, you're going to love the kind of visibility that it offers, especially when you remove the doors. You have bars like these on the side. You can literally look where you're going. And then if you want some modern touches, some modern creature comforts, you also have these new cameras which on this massive screen really give you a very good view of what is happening at the front axle, the rear axle. And while you have all that serious hardware in this car, it just makes it so effortless. So it gives you a nice view of everything around you. So yes, these aren't 360-degree cameras, but you get the idea. Now, what I have in front of me is a massive, massive dip. In fact, they sort of measured it. They said it's like going from the 10th floor of a high-rise all the way down. And it's really steep. So let's see. I'm still smiling. Okay. So hill descent on, manual, So now to increase speed here, I'm essentially going to use the manual transmission and increase the speed. You can see it right there. So I'm going to keep it to 8 kilometers an hour because 8 feels like a good number to me. And now we are going to go down this really steep slope. Okay, I've put it to 3 kilometers an hour now. Like I said, it just makes it look so easy. I'm telling you, I still had my heart in my mouth. And the Wrangler, it has to maintain that 7-slat grill look on the face. Otherwise, I'm telling you, it must be just grinning while coming down that slope. So I have taken off my shoes because clearly I did not bring waterproof shoes to this drive event. So basically what's going to happen is we are going to drive through a real river which has got a strong current. It's not a man-made water fording test. It's a proper river and a deep one at that. Of course, we are not going to dive at the deep end. We are going to go in the moderate end of things.
Constant acceleration, 4-wheel low, and 18 to 2000 RPM. If it slows down RPM more,
okay, sir.
Keep moving. If the पानी आएगा तो भी accelerator नहीं छोड़ना.
हाँ, बिल्कुल. So that was a clear instruction. पानी अंदर आए तो भी accelerator नहीं छोड़ना है. Oh, it's cold. That was fun. That was a lot of fun, guys. Now, the other beauty of this water wading is that even if the water were to enter the cabin, which it did right now, even if the seats were to submerge underwater, which is almost what it did right now, the 12-way adjustable seating, all those electronics are still going to continue to work. Same is the case even for the AC controls, even the touchscreen. So if you have a snorkel, if you have water till your chest height, the touchscreen is still going to continue working. Wow, absolutely wow. Before we head to the road, let me quickly show you what is new on the 2024 Wrangler. You have these curtain airbags for all the 4 occupants and they work even if there is no roof. So even when you're off-roading, in case you have a tumble, they're going to work. Then you have this massive 12.3-inch instrumentation screen. It's got a lot of instrumentation data, infotainment data, all of that wealth of information on it. And like typical Wrangler things, it is waterproof, so you can hose down the cabin and it will continue to work. Even all these switches are still physical switches. They will also continue to work. And speaking of switches, you also have switches on both the front seats now because you get 12-way adjustable seating. That too is going to work underwater, up to 864 millimeters of water, the water wading capability of this car. And then you also have cameras at the front and the rear to tell you where you're going, show you your steering angle. But that's not all. You also get radars in there because you also get ADAS tech now. And this windscreen, like probably the phone that you're watching this video on, has Gorilla Glass so that even with all the dust and the debris, they're not going to get scratched when you use the wipers. How cool is that? No one ever thought of that. I think it's just Jeep things. A red Wrangler driving through the fields of Punjab. Nice setting, right? A Wrangler driving through rainforests. A Wrangler wading through water. A Wrangler going over the toughest of off-road courses. It just fits. It's like picture perfect. Because you see, the Wrangler is more than just a car. It's more than just any other SUV. Everything else just feels like a pretender after you drive the Wrangler. So whatever qualms you may have about how it behaves on tarmac, how noisy the cabin is, how comfortable some of the other luxury cars feel, The moment you drive this car, all that just goes out of the window, or clearly the lack of it. I know what you're thinking. What is this guy doing on tarmac? Well, this is where we are going to begin, because you see the Wrangler will begin most of his journeys on tarmac. Even if you buy the Rubicon, even if you're going to hit the trails often, you still need to get to the trails on tarmac, right? And tarmac is where most of the Wrangler's problems lie, because a lot of people will come to you and say, oh, the Wrangler, it is good on bad roads, but it is bad on good roads. So how bad is it really? Honestly, very bad. Because if you are paying luxury car money and you expect to get yourself a cloud to float on while you're traversing the urban landscapes, the Wrangler is not going to do that. No, the Wrangler is not that. Because you see, unlike Jeep, Cherokee or any of your favorite luxury cars, off-road prowess, off-road capabilities is still the primary goal for the Wrangler, even in its more road-biased, unlimited variant. And therefore, the suspension, the solid axles, they will make you feel every bit of texture on the road. So they expect you to have bones that are built from stone. The cabin, they've done enough to, sort of curb down all these noise levels. Of course, this is the open car, but even in the fully closed car, it is still pretty noisy despite all those mics trying to be those noise cancellation systems and whatever. They still expect you to bring your own noise cancellation headphones so that you can have that pleasant, silent ride in the cabin. And then the steering, the brakes, they feel a tad bit slow. In fact, significantly slower than your favorite luxury car again. So they need you to have the patience of a monk. So long story short, if you like the feel of premium leather, if you love the smell of premium perfumes, if that's your sort of thing, if you like the mechanicals to be very gentle, you're better off with any of the German luxury cars or maybe the Land Rover Defender. But if you like to be one with the elements, if you like to smell the mud, if you like the feeling of rain on your face, the water on your feet, etc., the Wrangler is the one that you want to get. Honestly, with its lack of doors on this particular car, or even on the standard car where everything is nicely squared off, everything just feels so close to you, get a beautiful judgment, front, rear, sides. It just makes the judgment so easy, despite this car being so big, that it just makes things very easy for you. In fact, I have not driven a single luxury car this side of 1 crore rupees, which gives me this kind of confidence when I'm traveling through probably the trickiest of terrains or the most crowded of city environments. Because the kind of judgment this car offers, the kind of visibility that it gives you, it's simply amazing. So the confidence levels are super high. I have never felt any kind of anxiety driving one of these in the most crowded of environments, like Mumbai, for example. Now, once you get used to driving a Wrangler on a highway, you will love the kind of poise it has, right? At the same time, if you just want to relax a little bit, if you think that it's a bit of work, now they have ADAS tech with the new Wrangler, which means you get adaptive cruise control even for the India spec model. Which means on well-paved roads like these with proper lane markings, you can simply engage the cruise control using this little switch on the steering, and as you already know, the adaptive cruise control will maintain the speed of the vehicle depending on the speed of the vehicle in front of it. So no matter what you set, it will automatically adjust the speed, automatically accelerate or decelerate whenever it needs to, according to the speed of the vehicle in front of it. And if you're not very confident about the slower brakes, you can also increase the distance that you want, the set distance that you want between you and the vehicle in front of you, all depending on your confidence level. The Wrangler is a lifestyle in itself, and the Rubicon is the absolute upper tier of that lifestyle. Till you've driven one, you will not know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you have the time, if you have the money, if you have the inclination, please go and get yourself a test drive.